Thank you very much.
All right, so now we have 2 minutes each for the following speakers. First, we have Francisco Dominguez, and then Pat. I'm going to tell me your last name. Midgard.
Good evening. My name is Francisco Dominguez, and I'm the current board president for Gilroy Unified School District. So welcome. And I want to share just briefly my thoughts on the issue of governance. I have a very unique situation in which I have served on 3 different school districts. I first was elected in San Jose to the Franklin McKinley School District. Then I moved to Southern California and served on the Oxnard School District. And today I serve in the Gilroy Unified School District. So of the 3, Gilroy is the one that has 7. And for my opinion on an issue of governance, actually it has been easier to govern with a 7-member board. The factualism that can take place does in fact, and we've seen it in many school districts, with 5 board members. And sometimes getting things done with 5 members can be difficult. So from my experience, in the 16 years that I have served, the countless number of hours of board meetings that I've been to, and have serving as board president now for 3 different school districts, I can tell you the issue of governance is one that's important so that you can move the agenda and get the work done that needs to get done. And having a 7 board member allows for the diversity of opinions to come forth and allows for that governance to be able to take place. So thank you for allowing for this hearing, and hopefully we can come to a conclusion soon. Thank you.
Okay, Pat Midgard. And then after that will be Tom Boudros.
Good evening. My name is Pat Midgard, and I am a 43-year resident of Gilroy Unified School District. And within that time, I have served as a parent, first of all, and then a teacher, and then a principal, and from 2004 to 2008 on the Gilroy Unified School District Board of Education. So I have 4 points that I would like to make this evening. I am in favor of a 7-member board. The first reason being, reflecting back on my time on the board, I thought that the 7-member board provided us the ability to really have robust discussions, conversations, and I doubt that there's any of us that, no matter which side of the fence we came down on during different discussions and votes, I doubt that there's any of us that didn't drive home thinking about what other people had said, which is good, because then you start to question where you stand and why you think you feel the way you do on a certain issue. And I thought it was kind of interesting during my 4-year tenure that I think there were only 3 or 4 times that we voted unanimously on an issue, which brings me to my second point. I think that a 7-member board, and having talked to people that are on a 5-member board, I think it actually prevents a group from forming that always votes the same way together. I think you run the risk when you only have 5 members on the board that 3 members might come down on the same side of the fence every single time. And I think when you have 7 members, I was never quite sure who was going to vote the way I voted, and it was often a surprise and enlightening to figure out why that person voted that way. My third point is that I think a 5-member board, just from my limited experience, would work well in a district that was perhaps K-5 or a high school district, as one of my daughters teaches in, because the focus is so much narrower when you're in a K-5 or maybe K-8 or just a high school district. But K-12, huge range of issues, huge range of problems, and as Dr. Flores alluded to, the fact that I think this board truly tries to meet the needs and wishes of all constituents in the district, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of manpower, a lot of time. And when you have 7 board members, you can't spread that out. The last point I'd like to make is that I understand the necessity for cutting costs and the times that we are in. However, I tried to think of an analogy, and to me, cutting a board from 7 members to 5 just for budgetary reasons is like a family looking at their budget and saying, well, we're going to have to cut back somewhere, so let's not buy milk anymore. because I think this board is such a backbone, and having lived it, I truly understand that concept that it's the backbone of the district. It's working well, it has worked well, and so I think that it should stay on the course that it's on. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Tom, and then Rhoda Ress.
Good evening. My name is Tom Bundros. I'm a trustee of the district. I've lived in Gilroy for almost 30 years now. The data that the petitioner showed this evening has been cleaned up, but the original petition indicated that most of the school districts in Santa Clara County are 5-member boards. In fact, most of the school districts in Santa Clara County are either elementary or high. There's only 6 that are unified, spanning K through 12. And of those, as Dr. Flores mentioned, half are 7-member boards. So there was an inaccuracy in the petition. There's also, and again, they cleaned up the data in the compensation. The original petition was based, I believe, on the grand jury data, and that data was incomplete and flawed. I question the validity of that information. And as one of the comebacks, we should probably come back and talk about that. As has been mentioned, we're a large school district. There's a lot to do. We're a very active board. To do it with 5 people would be, quite frankly, overwhelming. We'd have to cut down on what we're doing. The board is working well. The community is happy with us. The newspaper is happy with us. We'd like to continue as 7. Finally, a 7-member board brings a greater variety of thoughts and experience. We've leveraged that to Gilroy's benefit, I believe. It's also much more difficult for a special interest group to take control of a 7-member board as opposed to 5. Quite frankly, whatever the dollar value might be in a 7-member board as opposed to 5, I sincerely believe that Gilroy is getting value for that money. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Rhoda, and then Michelle Nelson.
Good evening. My name is Rhoda Brass, and I am a school board member. Gilroy's population is currently about 50,000, with over 20,000 registered voters. A petition to reduce the number of board members was circulated throughout the community for a period of time. If 10% of the registered voters had signed the petition, we wouldn't be here tonight. However, only 399 ballot signatures were gathered, somewhere between 1% to 2% of the registered voters. This does not signify a mandate for change. The current system of 7 board members has served the community well for decades and is the standard in Gilroy. Gilroy has a 7-member city council. A group of Gilroy teachers recently submitted a petition to create a charter school with a 7-member board of directors. Why change the composition of the school board when there's been no significant change in circumstance since this committee first supported the recommendation to create a 7-member board in 1963? Are there fewer schools in Gilroy? Does the district cover a smaller geographical area? Has there been a change in demographics so that diversity on the board is no longer needed? Absolutely not. The school district has experienced dramatic growth over the years, necessitating new schools and programs. More students from a wider range of backgrounds and with more needs than ever before are our responsibility. All the reasons that compelled this committee to support a 7-member board decades ago still exist today, and then some. A 7-member board is more representative of the community and more likely to be responsive to the community's needs. I believe that is in the best interest of students. I have always had immense respect for teachers.